Good morning, you guys. Welcome to the Shay Show. My name is Shay, and today we get to speak with Carla Aaron-Lopez. She is a beautiful, brilliant soul that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet in person. I've met her here on the gram. Who she is she's an artist. She's an activist. She's a teacher, you guys. She contributes to the well-being and the production and intelligence of our young people. But why I really picked her out is because she's a lady who seems to process life and attack it from a way that I've never seen anybody do that before. She is bold, she is incredibly passionate, and she has a strong conviction for celebrating Black culture, specifically Southern Black culture. I want to hear more about that. I want to hear where she got this vision, where she got this passion from. I want to hear how she processes life and how she continues to be who she is in this world, which is a brilliant force of goodness and strength and challenge. So you guys, I am so looking forward to this. And she calls herself King Carla, which I was like, ooh, I want to talk to this lady. She calls herself King Carla. So I don't know if she's done too many lives before. This is going to be new for her. But she is hopefully going to be here in a moment. We should have been here at 10, so please forgive us for starting a little bit late. She should be showing up any moment now. Well, this skirt my sister-in-law got me, just in case you're wondering. I think it's rather lovely. I feel really pretty in it. Years ago, I had a young man, actually, asked me, why do you wear that thing on your head? And I said, because I feel beautiful. What you gonna say to that? Are you gonna tell me I don't feel beautiful? I love telling people things that I know arrest them and stop them and, oh, wait, maybe that was a crazy thing to ask somebody. Why do you wear that thing on your head? Let's see. Oh, Carla, King Carla. Thank you, Chad, for helping me out. I appreciate it. I was behind the scenes quickly trying to call her. And so she let me know that you were too. Oh my God. Okay. Awesome, you guys. Chadwick, if you have the inside scoop on helping her get here, dude, I would greatly appreciate it. If you could just go, and I try to give her a rundown real quick. This is so fun. And she's not the only person who's done this before. I was calling her behind the scenes on Instagram, like Message, where you can just like video call someone. And so she called me back on that, and she thought we were on. I was like, nah, this is just a private conversation between us. So let's get off of here. You'll go and you'll find me at Shay Bear. You'll touch my name, my little emblem, and it will bring you into my room, and I'll see that you've entered. But I was telling her real fast. So if you could help me out, Chad, I would greatly appreciate it. Ah, there she is. There she is. I'm getting her. Y'all, I'm going to go get her right now. Before that happens, I'm getting Miss King Carla. Yay! I was like, I'm getting her. Chad, go help me. Go help a sister make it happen.
No, I'm laughing because you're talking and I'm getting text messages at the same time.
Okay. Okay. Well, good morning, King Carla.
Good morning, girl.
My name is Shay. I know we haven't met in person. I've been bragging all about you, telling people how I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person, but I've had the pleasure of meeting you here on the gram. And something that really struck me about you and what I saw you doing is you seem to be someone who is impassioned with both social justice and creativity at a level that I've never seen the two converge. And two, I'm interested in King Carla. And
Everybody
why
Everybody want to know why this girl running around saying she a villain.
a villain. Yeah. So talk to me about it. First of all, King Carla, I always started with this. Where are you in this world? Charlotte, North Carolina. Everybody doesn't know that. I have people who watch this who are in Europe, in South Africa, all over the African continent, in the Caribbean, in the Bahamas, where I'm from. So they don't know. So
you're from the Bahamas?
I am. I'm Bahamian.
What's good with a plate of pepper chicken?
Ooh, for me, I'm always, give me a side of plantain, give me a side of peas and rice. That's why my ass is big and my thighs won't stop.
I got left out of the game, but it's cool though. I still eat that plate of food too.
Okay, well, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you, girl, and then I'm gonna get you some crack kunk later. Uh,
Oh God, please do.
I
Like
know.
seriously, no, I'm not
N-
playing. Please
I'm
don't.
not playing either. I really want it, and some oxtail. But anyway, so you are in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Hmm.
and you are from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah,
Are you from here specifically? Which I want people to know who watch this show. There are very few people who are from Charlotte. Charlotte is a big transient city. It's a city that has people from all over the world. Like I said, I'm from the Bahamas. My husband's from Georgia. I know very
yeah,
few people born, raised in Charlotte. So
yeah.
she's a unicorn, guys, for more reasons than one, but she's a unicorn. So what really took me when I was reading your bio was that you are someone who is passionate about education, not
Hmm.
only yours but others. Tell me,
Hmm.
King Carla, where did that come from?
It comes from my family. I think half of my family has either been or still are educators,
Yeah,
and education's easy. Once you figure out the language of the student, that person can learn anything by your hands. You just have to understand the student.
it's kind of powerful when you realize that I know. I remember my favorite teacher of my life, Susan Patnode, and then probably the next one was Miss Nace. And these are teachers that make an impact in our lives. And I think once you can recognize, like, do you recognize the difference that you're making in these kids' lives?
10 years later, yes.
10 years later. That's so
Yeah.
brilliant. Because in the moment, what does it feel like, King Carla?
Stress, but it's always 10 years later. 10 years later, I get love notes. 10 years later, I get the you inspire me. 10 years later, I get the thank you for being you because that's the only way I could be myself. Of course, that's all I wanted you to be was yourself. I don't want, copies or facsimiles of me running around on earth. I think it's cool when you like what you do. When
Yes.
you become the geek about what you do. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T- Tell me what is when you call yourself King Carla. What is the impetus to King Carla? Where does that come from, and what is it that you seek to put out in the world with your King Carla ism?
Ain't nobody gonna give me the crown, so I'm gonna take that bitch. That's
Oh,
just as simple as it is. You can
love
do
it.
all the work in the world and never
Hmm.
get your flowers. So
It's
I'll
so
get my
true.
own damn flowers, okay?
Why the king and not the queen?
For what? It's just to mess with people. You so obsessed with it being very male centered or woman centered.
Right. I love that. I love that you push the envelope on how, not just push the envelope. I love that you push the brain barrier on how we hold things and why we hold it. Why do you think we hold it so tightly that we want it to be queen? And like even that, I would question and ask you, why queen? Why king and not queen?
Because it's just a label. It's
Mm-hmm.
the highest of the high. The queen may be the most powerful piece in the game, but the game isn't won until the king goes down. Checkmate,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Do you think that we as a society, we're so kind of married to, I guess, labels and constructs and boxes? And if
Yes.
so, why? Why do you think we're married to those things?
Because it's easy to organize that in your brain. It's easy to assess another human if you can just check off a box. But sometimes that doesn't help a lot of other people that have determined to not have a typical, normal, stereotypical, like whatever words go back to normal or stereotypical identity. Some
Mm-hmm.
people just don't want that. Why can't we just honor them with that?
What
Like
is it? Go ahead.
if you're not gonna harm another human, you ain't out here doing crazy wild stuff, like seriously wild stuff. I don't mind honoring it. I mean, I guess what changed my thoughts is going from Charlotte to Los Angeles when I was a child. Charlotte was very black and white,
Mm-hmm.
simple, uh, very much so about their boxes. And then in
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles, it was just any and everything goes. It was like, whoa.
Filipino, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Italian. It's everything, right?
Yeah, like I grew up in West Hollywood in between Trinity Park. So it's like between being smack in the middle of the hood and being in like one of the gayest towns in America. It's
See,
like
I don't know that.
stuff is just a little different.
Ooh, I bet that is colorful and pretty.
It was. Melrose was very different back then.
I love it. Tell me
Yes.
what, okay, so when you say like those boxes, and it's just easier to assess and put people to assess information, putting people in boxes, putting people in label spaces. What do you think is a stereotype of you that you have encountered that you're like, hey, You don't know me. That's not who I am. And I can clearly feel that you move from that energy and calling yourself King Carla. What you're saying is, you don't know me. You're not going to box me in. What
No.
is a stereotype that someone that you think has been held of you that you're like, nah, bruh, wrong?
That I'm wild in a way that only seems like something that you would see in a movie. And I'm like, this is reality. I
What do you
am
mean?
a very stereotypical artist. I am a very stereotypical artist.
In
I will
which
go into
ways?
the studio and get lost for 8 hours straight and
I
come
can
out.
I can I tell on you real quick? So we
Sure.
were supposed to start here at 10 o'clock, y'all. And at 10 o'clock, I was like, okay, 10:05, where's Carla? I go to the back end. I'm like, Carla, are you all right? Blah, blah, blah. Y'all, 18 minutes later, 10:18, she's like, yep, I was asleep.
I told you, I'm a classic art. Like, I am a
I was
stereotypical
like,
artist.
asleep. I was like,
Yes.
well, I thought she was excited about this. No,
I
but
am
I know
excited.
you are.
The sleep, though.
You had to get that sleep. It's real.
I just front loaded a lot of work for the next couple of months over the past 2 weeks. So my brain was just really on whatever. You got your one day to sleep in. You better
Yes,
enjoy it. And then
that's
I wake up
right.
and I'm like, I haven't heard my phone. It's somewhere else. That's why.
What is awesome is, first of all, she is a teacher, y'all. So I need y'all to understand. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So it's one day she actually has off. So I get her wanting to sleep in. I hear you, sister. So the stereotypical thing that people put on you is that you would say that you are wild beyond normal.
Yeah, it's like whatever they've shown of artists in movies or just being like the weird black person in the room in general, like, all right, cool. You got that. I'm actually gonna go home and eat dinner with my family. Because so many people do, like you said, think that we're unicorns. And when I
Yeah.
say we, I do reference my family. My
Yeah.
mom gave a speech on being a unicorn once. Because
What do
people
you?
treated her the same way. They just couldn't realize that she was from Charlotte. So she's like, yeah, you are a unicorn. A lot of
Yeah.
people think I'm not from here, and I'm from here. I'm not from New York. I only grew up in Los Angeles because my mom moved there, but I went to school here in Charlotte. Like, these things can cripple people.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations of what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to act definitely cripples people. Like, one thing I talk about often is how dark skin, light skin is such a crippling thing within just black identity. I can't sit through that nor participate in that anymore. There's no special thing about it. You have to acknowledge that thought process is stemming from somewhere.
Ooh, I love, girl, you're about to dive in. So tell me where that thought process stems from, because that's a big issue for me too. I always saw myself as a very dark skinned person. So I identified as like, blackity black and chocolate on top of the chocolate.
Yeah.
And people had to be like, I don't know if that's what you, but in my culture, so my mother's an American, my father's a Bahamian, my sister has green eyes, right? And we know how people act, right? So I started seeing the play out of like this specialness, this reverence of her eyes. And really, what it seems to me is that which in Black society most replicates, most looks closest to whiteness, we honor it and say it's beautiful. Like, you are a
Mm-hmm.
light-skinned woman. You have, and you know it because I know you heard it before. You have good hair, meaning that you don't have that stuff that looks like the stereotypical Black person. So when you say you honor this, but you're not going to take part in it, what does that mean?
I wait, honor what? I
Like,
don't honor that kind of light skin, dark skin colorism thought process. I will always speak about it because it
okay,
is an issue.
it is okay, good that you're understanding that it is an issue. And how do you address the issue? How do you seek to dismantle this issue?
Every Black woman I dismantle, I win.
Yes, you. Oh, glory. Yes, you do. Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
I'm not gonna talk to everybody else. I'm gonna go talk to the Black girl. Why am I talking
Yes.
to everybody else? You
Did
don't
you
understand what's going on out here.
It's true. Did you personally experience it in your life, Carla? You
Yeah,
being the fairer skin of us?
yeah, and it's boring.
It is boring.
It's just boring. Like I want to go make stuff.
Well,
Like, I don't want to sit here. I don't want to look at you fall out over me. I don't want you to tell me how pretty I am 30 million fucking times when I've read every book in the goddamn library.
Yes, and not asking you about that, not probing your intellect, not probing how you process
Yeah,
life.
like if this is how y'all gonna live, y'all got it. I'm out.
When did you first realize this? Because I think
Childhood when I wanted to wear pants over dresses.
girl, can you imagine your mom just, oh, I love it. You wanted to wear now I want people to know how old or tell me when you were a child. Were you a child in the 80s, 70s, 90s? When are you a child? Because I want people to understand what a mother is contending with when her kid is like, yeah, I'm pulling my pants over my dress.
That was the 80s.
Love it. Woo! Love it. Love it.
I had Little Mermaid stuff and Transformer toys all at once.
You know what? I was very similar to you. I had race tracks. Like that was a big thing that apparently only boys had. I had race tracks, and then I had my head Barbie doll that I could practice combing her hair. I greased my doll's hair almost every day. I had no idea that white people did not grease their hair. I did.
I had those things too. I think what happened in the end is that I ended up thoroughly enjoying my Easy Bake Oven and whatever art supplies you could give me. Those two ended up being translated into real life. So I like art and food quite a lot.
I love that. Well, I think the two go hand in hand.
Yeah,
you know,
so those two little girlish things. I like. I'm gonna keep this.
How did your mother? But I want to ask this question again. I want to know how your mother dealt with it. Was it anything strange for her? Was she? Do you recall her being very accepting of it? Because I want to know. I want you to know if she was not the norm.
It was kind of like 50-50, you know, like part of her was like, dang, I need for you to be like everybody else. Other part of her was like, awesome, you're not like everybody else.
Right.
So it was a struggle. And I think that within these past several years, like recent years, you know, she's finally full blown let it go because, you know, what I do is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job or what feels like it. Sometimes when you make art, you have very busy moments, and then you have slow, dead moments. So understanding that ebb and flow and the professionalism that goes along with that, because she's worked for Wells Fargo for so long, professionalism is what she knows. The more she sees those things, the more she realizes, like, okay, so we overdressed her.
Yes,
she's fine.
She is fine. It's
like,
you know, Flannery O'Connor says childhood. It's a wonder any of us made it out alive.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think I made it out just yet.
Right.
I'm kind of there. I still have those very, you know, only child moments where I'll walk into a room and I'll be like, let me go get my books and go over here. I don't like all this peopling, but
what is it about that?
You gotta people.
What is it? Are you an introvert? Do you just not like being around a lot of people? Or is it certain people that you have a sensitive soul? So you're like, no, this is not a world I need to be in.
No, I'm quite frankly an antisocial extrovert. That's what I am.
Oh my God. You need to break that down for me. An antisocial extrovert. Break it down for me, King Carla.
I always like peopling, but then there are going to be days where I don't want to people at all.
I think I'm very similar.
Yes.
I'm like, I didn't know what that was. I thought the new term was ambivert. I was like, oh, because people see me as this very...
has always been in existence. My other personal favorite one that was made by a friend of mine was semi-social introvert.
Semi-social introvert. No, I don't think I'm an introvert, but what I do think I am is
an antisocial extrovert.
Maybe because it's like I love people and I love peopling. But then I love that you used it and you made it a verb. I love peopling, but then I love retracting and maybe sitting on my couch and flipping through magazines and lighting a candle and reading and thinking and writing and not seeing anybody. And I'll look up and it'll be like 2 days. I'm like, oh, the only people I've seen are the people in my house. And there hasn't been 1 ounce of me that wanted to change that. But then when I have to. Right. But then when I go here, I'm like, yes, I love this interaction. So I think I might be similar to you. But I want to ask specifically with your art, when you're like, you go into times of like great like production where you're just like boom, boom. And then you go into the like when you spoke of the ebb and flow, and then you go into quiet moments. With your art, King Carla, what is it that you seek to create? What is it that you seek to push out into the world right now? Because I know it changes over time.
Yeah, it does. My themes are still pretty consistent. The materials that I work with often change every 3 to 5 years. It's just something I've been tracking
Yeah.
when you look at progress and success.
Hmm.
So about every 3 to 5 years, I change materials, but the themes continue to stay the same.
And what
I
would you say your
feel like
themes are?
I still like dealing with like Southern hip hop culture because that's where I come from. I still like having conversations with Black women about the self and not no like bath bomb, smell good lotion self care. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like it's like digging into your thoughts and putting it all out on paper. Um, I still like making up stories of
yeah.
creation and like this whole entire pantheon of characters I've never written down before, but they show up again and again in my collages. And I still like shooting pictures of people, places, and food. Like
When did you know you were an artist?
when I drew a boy in a grill and the Valvoline logo when I was living in a loft in downtown Charlotte.
You
That
drew a
had to
boy.
have been like 86, 87.
You drew a boy in a grill.
I misspelled girl.
Oh, I love it.
That was the
Uh,
moment.
oh my gosh. How old were you?
I don't know how old I was supposed to be in 86, 87.
Right,
So I guess
right,
87, I should have been 4.
right. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Did the adults around you recognize that?
Yeah,
They recognize that.
yeah.
That's awesome. What have you done to foster your creativity in your life? Because I consider myself an artist as well. And I know that life has a way of trying to shut that, quiet it, squash it, make it small, or make it conform. So what
Mhm.
have you done to continue to grow in your artistry? And I also want to ask, when you say the theme of hip hop, Southern culture, I want you to go into that a little bit in a minute. But what have you done to foster it
Um,
and keep
I
it
don't know.
alive?
It's only been like the one thing I've gone after my entire life. Like
Yeah.
every year school had to include some sort of form of art. By the time I
Hmm.
got to high school, some higher level of art. By the time I got to undergrad, it became less about art and more about a Black experience at an HBCU.
Ooh.
But it still was very artful. But
Hmm.
I needed that hardcore art school experience, so that's what led me to grad school at SCAD. So I went to North Carolina Central to get my foundation as a Black
Hmm.
person in history. Like, okay, cool. I know these things. I'm very well versed in African American art history, but I'm not well versed in certain techniques I want to know, especially in dealing with photography. So
Sure.
I got a master's in photography and another master's in printmaking, because then the conversation became about like digital versus analog.
Hmm.
Just printing and printing alone.
Yeah.
Lyrics is something like I would always test out lyrics when I was learning a new machine.
Hmm.
So that's really where like handwriting and
Yes.
like Southern hip hop comes from. Because when I was learning how to utilize a new printmaking machine, the first thing that could come to my mind freely was
Hmm.
whatever song I was listening to last.
Hmm. What are some hip hop artists that you appreciate? And then I
Oh,
want to,
I'm a fan of everybody that would be super problematic today. Like, there's nothing like problematic rap music in your life.
give it to me.
Quite misogynistic.
I know.
Yes, yes.
I listened to it too.
So
I remember
I'm
Luke
still
Scott.
hardcore
Remember
Cash Money. I still
Cash
love No
Money?
Limit. Yes,
Yes.
man. Like everybody that came out of Texas, UGK,
Girl.
Lil Kiki and them Fat Pads, everybody that came out of Memphis, like Florida even, Georgia,
Wow.
Atlanta alone. Like
Right.
this was our life. Like this is what we heard our neighbors playing coming down the street. As annoying as it was,
Right. Yeah.
that your walls would be rattling at 2 o'clock in the freaking morning.
I know.
But the beauty of it all as you get older is like I want people to stop demonizing
What is the beauty of
neighborhoods
it?
I come from. What is a
What is the
celebration of
beauty?
us? We ain't
Yes.
waiting for nobody. That's why I said I'm King Carla. Like, I'm not gonna wait for you to give me anything. I'm gonna take it.
Right. Girl, I feel that. So so the beauty of it is
I
it's
got
a
a lot of
celebration of
confidence from
us.
problematic, misogynistic rap music. And there's a lot of Black women that have PhDs in music and history that have written so many things about the things we love. You can find it at Bitter Southerner.
Bitter Southerner. One
Mm-hmm.
thing that you said is you like specifically celebrating Black Southern hip hop
Yeah.
culture and
Yeah.
slangwage. You called it slangwage. Talk
Yes,
to me
because
about
it's
that.
only but so long we're gonna last in standard English.
Right, right,
So like the
right.
way people say things or the way people text things, like for
Yeah,
example, my favorite one that's easiest for everyone to see is no cap. So
no
you
cap.
gonna write out NO and then put an emoji of a cap. Oh, that's super cute. That's super cute. I love the way 21 Savage says capping. It just sounds like you have just done the worst thing on earth.
What
He
is
found out, he
okay?
caught you.
I'm so bad right now. I feel old right now.
It's all right.
I don't know what capping is.
You lying.
No, I don't.
No, I just told you what it is.
Oh, it means you're lying. Okay,
Yes.
I thought you were saying like, nah, girl, like you are so bad, like you've got to be kidding. Okay,
Mm-mm.
so it just means you lying. No cap.
No cap. You ain't lying.
Okay, no cap.
So if you
So,
say somebody capping, you lying. Why is you
oh,
lying?
ooh, I wonder where the etymology of that came from, like the cap.
You
I
know
don't know.
what?
It's kind of
I don't
cool.
ask. I just keep rolling with it.
I love it. I love
I
it.
found I found that out the hard way when I had a group full of students telling me that everything was Gucci, and I was like, "Bro, you ain't got on Gucci. What you mean?" And this was a smooth decade and some change ago.
Isn't that crazy? And I just recently heard it maybe like 4 years ago. I was like, everything's Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And then I try to use it myself. Um, Carla, what has been the hardest part about being you as you are in this world?
Alone.
Mm. I'm going to sit with that for a minute. And when
Yeah.
you say alone, why? Why do
If
you
you
think you're alone?
if you're gonna be yourself,
Hmm.
sometimes the outcome is that you're alone and you make peace with it.
That is so, that's so real. A friend of mine just wrote this morning. She happens to be uh, she she happens to be a white American lady who has 5 children, 2 of which are adopted, and 2 are Black boys who are adopted. And I have never seen someone who is more like I'm gonna fight this, fight the establishment. I mean, fight the power kind of
Yeah.
soul. It's no joke. Like sometimes I'm like, huh, I gotta step up my card, you know. Seriously, she's like that. But one thing she said is, yeah, she said, I know that this is alienating. I
Yeah.
know that I lose friends. I know that I lose I know that I lose. She said, because there is so much that I have to do. She said, but for everything that I lose, she said, there also is fruit.
Yeah.
There is always fruit. And one of the fruits of what I do is that my young Black boy sees himself capable as a flippin' amazing soul because of the work I do. So I might lose you, but
Mm-hmm.
the fruit is what my young boy has.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're saying. It's like, you know, when you are fully pursuing who you are and you're like, you're unequivocally you ain't even trying to be you at this point. You just ain't going to be nobody else. There can be an isolating, lonely part of it because unless I am willing to just let you be you, I'm not going to be around. Or what's more importantly is you ain't going to let me be around because you ain't doing it anymore. Right? Isn't that a empowering thing when you get to a place where you're like, if you're going to keep trying to step up on my toes and tell me how to be, you don't deserve the privilege or access to me. You
No,
don't.
I'm an only child. I'll go somewhere else. Like, you know what? I don't have to be here.
I love it. What is
I,
it?
I can leave.
What is a big lesson? What is a lesson that you have learned from your particular way that you have been made, created, how you see the world, how you interface with the world? What is a takeaway or a lesson that has been like, ooh, this has been powerful or impactful for me, and maybe it's a lesson too that I give others?
You know, since the start of quarantine, I think I've needed my mom more than ever, because so many wild opportunities have shown up since last year, which have been super great. But I'm a parent, you know, and the expectation that people have of women and children, it's a good one, but it's a heavy burden if you're trying to do something else. So you have to seek help or accept help when it's being given and understand the context of said help. For example, my family will always help me if I am doing what I am supposed to be doing, which is pursuing and establishing a lot of really strong art relationships in order to keep that same energy going from 2020. So I guess my takeaway would have to be that with that, sometimes, you know, you're going to need your family, man. Like,
oh, that's beautiful.
That part, and just knowing, like, when I always say, like, I can go home, I can really just go home. I don't have to be here. I don't have to get to know 50 million other people. I got 30 cousins across the city of Charlotte. Like, I don't have to go peopling. I don't have to be at this bar, bruh. I can go home.
Yeah.
Now, home is what made me, like, frustrated in the beginning, but now it's like, no, that was a gift. My frustration was simply just in response to being a spoiled brat and wanting to see the world beyond MTV. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, no, I don't have to be here, love. If I have no purpose in this space, I'm gonna go home and be with my family and my child.
You don't have to edit yourself. You can be exactly who you are with me.
I wanted that right there, that hard pause right there, because it's very, very true. You don't have to be anywhere you don't want to be, but you will not get the things that you are looking for if you don't put forth the work.
Ooh. Those are two. So for me, you just laid out two different lessons. One is, hey, you got to be about the work. You got to be about the business of doing fully you. You got to put it in for opportunities to come up. But the other thing is, we don't walk alone. It doesn't matter how isolated we feel or how strong we are. We get to where we're going with people, and your people, your family, you recognize you need them to go the distance.
Yes.
You're cutting your face off, Carla.
I know, because I'm typing a message to my cousin on the call. I told you, family real tight, because my cousin on here.
That's awesome. I love it. I was like, I can't see your face, Carla. So, Carla, do you have a story when you think of your life and your journey thus far, a story where the realness of needing your family became, like, I understand quarantine, but do you have something where you're like, oh my God, I need my family, or I am loved, these are my people?
Probably when it came down to my child's first birthday party.
How old is your child right now?
He's 8.
8. Oh, he's a little one.
Yeah, and like, I wasn't quite getting it. I like to do stuff alone and by myself. And they were like, it has to be this huge party. And I'm like, for what? And I didn't get it. But when I saw how happy he was, I was like, okay, so I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to act like I know what I'm doing. I'm going to sit back for a little while, check some stuff out, learn from you guys.
That's right.
I'm going to pay attention to this guy, see what he likes, and just kind of compare and contrast and figure out what parenting is from this point forth.
Yes.
It happened in 2 places. It happened in my home and it happened in the classroom. So it was my first time being a middle school art teacher.
Okay, pause. Everybody, middle school art teacher.
Special brand.
Girl.
It's a special brand of crazy that can handle
the middle
that
school. We have a middle schooler. She's 13.
Oh, she's sweet.
Anyway,
one of my favorite people.
Oh, I need to introduce you, because right now I'm her least favorite person. So I cannot imagine middle school and this nebulous thing called art all at the same time and go teach it. I can't even imagine that.
But yeah, A classroom taught me how to be a better parent. It taught me how to listen. It taught me how to pay attention. It taught me how to be, on point, on guard. So what I learned in the classroom, I brought that back home in addition to my home lessons. And I was like, all right, we're cool. We can do this, because I do enjoy it when my child has the ability to speak freely. Please speak freely. Tell me what's on your mind. I can't guess that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, nah, brother, pick these toys up. We are not going to bed until all these toys come up off the floor.
A to the men.
Yeah.
That's what with our daughter is one thing that I have a moment where I go, look, I'm not your mother right now. You're not my daughter. This is free. Whatever you say goes. This is, we can speak to each other without filter.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't fully embraced it yet, but I keep repeating it.
Just keep doing it, and then it'll be the same as me and my dad.
And are you guys thick as thieves?
I told you, my whole family's here in town.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go one block without running into somebody.
So there is something that I read of you. Are you also Latina?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Puerto Rican? What is it?
My daddy's Puerto Rican.
Your dad's Puerto Rican. Okay. I just knew, I was like, I think I read too that there's a Latina arm there. Do you speak
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, King
Nah,
Carla?
I think everybody else speaks better Spanish than me.
Oh, oh. King Carla, what is something that you are really wanting to do and pursue that you haven't?
I want to paint more walls. I
Mm,
want to repaint more walls. That's what I want to do for 2021.
repaint some walls. Where?
No, paint more walls.
Paint more.
You see Arco down there. Arco's
Yes.
like, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Where do you want to paint these walls?
All around Charlotte. It's a little nippy outside, so kudos to all the players out there that's getting on them walls right now in this weather.
That's right. Do you have some walls painted, King Carla?
I do.
And
I
I
do.
want
The
to where
Charlotte mural and the West End mural off of Beatties Ford Road. And then I've also made work for the Biden campaign when it passed through for the Black Economic Summit.
where can will you give me information where I could direct people so they could see this? Because I want to see it. I want to get in the car and take my family to go see it.
Sure, you can.
You
I'll send
promise?
it to
Because
you.
I want this information. I want to make it so that you guys can go too.
Yeah.
I've only seen your work in small form. I haven't had the privilege of seeing your work in big form. So
Yeah.
we're putting that out there. We're painting more walls in the city of Charlotte. Any other cities we want to paint?
Nah, I think I'm gonna hang out here for a while and then I'll go bug my friends elsewhere.
Okay, so the city of Charlotte. Carla, you talk about all the books you read, King Carla. What
Yeah.
are some great books you're reading right now or have read that you're like, I want to tell these folks about it?
All right, so we're at have read because right now I'm back into essays,
Yeah.
like scholarly essays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Last book was Wild Seed, Octavia Butler, and I still haven't gotten past chapter 2 because I swear she is speaking my life.
Ooh.
It's just too much for me at the current moment. So when I get back to it, it'll be that one. The other one was
Half
Salt,
Seed?
Fat, Wild Seed.
Wild Seed. Wild Seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about a man that transforms. It's about a man and a woman that can transform bodies, but while the man destroys, the woman heals. And they have this tumultuous relationship over centuries because they're
Wow.
almost immortal, So I was like,
Wow.
I'm just gonna put this book down. Thanks.
Look at Wild
I'll come back
Seed.
to it when I feel more mature.
Right. Cute. And
I like
then
reading cookbooks. I
mm-hmm.
like reading cookbooks. So Samin Nosrat's Salt, Fat, Heat, Acid.
Yes.
It's actually one of the best cookbooks for the beginning cook, aside from Mark Bittman's How to Cook Everything from the New York Times.
Yeah.
Salt, Fat, Heat, Acid is Mark Bittman's How to Cook Everything. Those two in your library, if you don't know how to cook, those are perfect. And she just really talks about the balance of salt, fat, acid, and heat, and how it could just really improve just a simple everyday meal. Like, I wanted to be a chef when I grew up, but I'm cool with not being a chef. All eyes was gonna go towards being an artist anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm a glorified home cook, and those things like that shit fuels my life.
I love that. What's some music right now you're listening to?
Whatever Apple Replay has created for me over the past 3 years. because I fell in love with my 2020 replay, but I didn't know my 2019 replay was bumping.
Was it really?
Yeah, man.
What's the
It
song
was
that,
it was a lot of Latino music.
I
In
love it.
2019, it was a lot of Latino music.
And then in 2020, what did 2020 bring you?
2020 brought me a lot of 21 Savage and Megan Thee Stallion.
I love you. I love you. I love your musical taste is all over the place. You will not be boxed in, will you, sister?
Nah, man, nah.
Will you, brother? I
No,
love,
not at all.
yeah,
Because
I
when
love.
kids say yes, sir, they be like, my bad. No, that's about right, baby. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. Are you a single mom?
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, there wasn't a question. I just didn't get clarification from that when I was reading your bio. I was like, she's not mentioning a partner, but I don't know. And I'm not going to assume. So you're doing this by yourself, of course, with the support of your family.
Yeah, a whole lot of support from my family.
Absolutely. There's no way we can do it. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about 2020 in and of itself.
All
King
right.
Carla, you know what 2020 was for so many of us.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that upon with your reflection upon 2020 you surmise, you come up with, you extrapolate? What is something that you get? I need to have something of value. I ask
Something
this
of
question.
value about 2020.
I need it. I ask
Prices,
everybody this.
all prices went up after January 6, 2021. So whatever it is that you need, whatever difficult conversations you need to have from an unbiased perspective, the prices doubled as of January 6, 2021. You got a raw deal from me in 2020. But
Yes.
because so many things have happened, and that was the icing on the cake, all prices
We
go
gonna increase
up
your
for
prices.
unbiased, difficult conversations.
Yes, they
No
cost more.
microaggressions, no hyper appreciations, no micro appreciations are needed. We've done this before. I have no problems having this conversation with you because a bitch can be talkative,
Oh
but
my
the
gosh.
prices doubled overnight to
Have you
have
had,
these difficult
oh my God.
conversations.
Did you have to have a lot of those difficult conversations?
In 2020, yeah.
Yeah. It's exhausting. It was exhausting for me.
That's why I started charging, like, okay.
Right. Girl,
Okay.
I wish I had the smarts to do it. Did you lose connections, friendships?
No,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody knows who I am.
Yes, that's the thing. You know what 2020 did for me
Mm-hmm.
is I think that I operated, that's just a part of my personality, maybe a part of the weakness of my personality is that I was a people pleaser. I call myself a recovering people pleaser. So I operated out of a space of always wanting to make sure I made the people I was around feel comfortable, not feel terribly challenged, feel encouraged, feel supported, and feel safe. So to do that at all times, you got to kill yourself a lot of times. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what 2020 brought me was
Time out.
fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it.
Mm-mm.
I'm not doing it anymore. I am not doing it. And so, therefore, I did lose relationships because, in their defense, I hadn't brought all of me always to the table. I had always presented a truncated version of myself that made those feel most comfortable and safe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the gift of 2020 for me. It's like, oh,
I
thank you,
don't have much
2020.
interest in like making people feel comfortable and safe anymore. Because the way I see it is if I'm a cartoon character from another
Yes.
planet walking around on Earth, wow. No.
Right.
I'm going to pick and choose what I care about.
Absolutely.
That's
And
what I'm going to
and
do.
you're gonna be who you were brought to this planet to be.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
why
I don't
not?
know what your spiritual beliefs are, but I know you are here for a reason. I know that there's what you can do, only
Mm-hmm.
you can do. Only
Yeah.
with your personality, like it all has meaning and it all has purpose. And if I start to dilute any part of that, I recuse myself of all that you are. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not willing to do that anymore. I don't want
Because
others to do it for me, and I'm not willing to do it for others.
I would bounce.
You're I'm learning. You know what? I'm taking some of my King Carla pills. When I feel that feeling in me, I'm being like, I'm taking my King Carla pill right now, and
I'm
I'm
out.
about to bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and what that means for me is an internal bounce too. Like, I might even be there, but you don't even know what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bifurcating the hell out of that, and I'm putting it over here, and I'm not going to give it time or space in my soul or in my heart. That's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
But I think the only thing that can give us that is all of the much, like, like dog, dog tired, long, hard discussions and requirements of discussions
Mm-hmm.
of these things.
Mm-hmm.
King Carla, tell me what is okay. So I know what is on the plane for next year, for this year, 2021. We're painting more walls. If you could change one thing in this world right now, what would you change?
Student loan debts.
Girl, that is so real. Thank you
I
for
don't.
taking it out of the ethereal and bringing it real home.
Well, I just don't like being penalized for wanting to be intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Yes, or educated and informed through multiple disciplines,
Yeah.
which is one of your things, multidisciplinary interactions with art and honestly, philosophy. That's what I see out of you too. You didn't write that in your bio, but you're a philosopher as well.
Yeah.
So you would get rid of student debt. What is the one thing if you wanted to tell other people, hey, this is one thing I would say, do more of. What would you say to do more of?
Laugh from a good place.
Laugh from a good place. I love it.
Yeah, I like hearing people laugh. It's
If the
just,
It is
I don't even,
beautiful.
yeah,
Your
it's just
laugh
a
is
good
beautiful
one.
to me. It's like throaty, it's spicy and smoky. I like your laugh.
I just
Um,
love it.
I do too. What is one thing that you would tell people to do less of?
Complain.
Complain.
Yeah, find a solution.
Amen.
It's people out here working with way fucking less, and if you spend more time being reactive instead of proactive, complaining instead of hoping to seek something to solve the problem, you can go.
Okay, that is so beautiful and powerful. Do
Hmm.
you have an example of where you saw yourself about to complain, or you were like, nope, here's the solution?
I think I walked through the dark long enough to where it was all about a complaint and I had no action.
Yeah,
Once I
yeah,
started focusing on what action looked like for me, then it changed. Like, okay, no complaints. This is happening. This is happening. You can fit this in here and fit that in there, and then be able to make these things come to life. So there's no excuse in complaining.
and when you started to put the action
Hmm.
and stop the complaining, did
Hmm.
opportunities start opening up for you?
Classically, as it always is said.
That's what I want people to see. Like,
Hmm.
as you started moving from a complaint standpoint to to actually an action standpoint, a solution based, a solution oriented process.
Hmm.
It's amazing how all of a sudden doors started opening. Didn't that happen?
Well, doors start opening. You don't hold on to like silly ass emotions for long periods of time. Like, just let it go. If you
Yeah.
can figure out how to solve the problem, let it go. Now, you do have to give people grace.
Yes.
You have to give people grace. And every now and then, they need to complain.
Yeah.
But every day, all day, miss me. You
Yeah.
had a bad moment, you want to get it off your chest? I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are thank you for making that distinction because you don't want to create this place where you create a false self and you
Hmm.
never talk about the stuff that is burning in your heart or destroying you or hurting you. But
Yeah.
then you also, what you're encouraging them to do is that's right. That is human and real to have those experiences. But what is not healthy or helpful for you is to work from a place of going straight into, excuse me, let me get rid of that, to work from a place where I'm just always complaining and I'm living in the space of complaint. Because if you live in a space of complaint, you'll find your world very tiny.
Because you in a hole.
That's right. There's no solutions.
Yeah,
There's
like
nothing to happen.
you gotta give people grace now. Please get that off your chest. All right. We got
Yeah.
you. And then sometimes like complaints, pain, and anger, those things last for weeks, months, maybe even years, depending on what had happened. But ridiculous, petty things.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
get you back. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Tell me, I love asking questions in the spirit of James Lipton. I know that I have taken some of your time, and I've been I really appreciate you giving it to me. I'm trying to get rid of, somebody tell me how to get rid of my, I'm just getting, I sent my own message because I didn't know how to take down my little keyboard. It had popped up, and I'm like, I need to get rid of this. Okay. So I know that this is a big day for you. You're a teacher, you're off, you are a single mother, you are an artist, you are an activist.
I'm a villain because I'm a mama.
Okay, I want to know why the villain though?
Why?
Yeah.
I had my baby in the age of Trayvon Martin. That scared me.
That scares me too.
It scared the life out of me. And I said, all right, this is what we're going to do. And I'm responsible for this too. All right. I could give a fuck more or a fuck less what you have to say. My goal is to make sure this dude has whatever crazy life in front of him that we created.
Yeah.
This is what we created. So he comes home, his house is filled with all of our art on the wall, instant access to toys. Toys do get cleaned up and put back neatly from an 8-year-old boy, believe it or not.
Yay. That's because King Carla is his mother.
Yeah, like it's yummy foods in there because art and food is life. So
it's sure, oh, glory. Yes, it is.
Whatever cartoons you want to watch until I feel like watching the news or listening to the news.
So why do you think it's a villain? Is it because you understood at that moment you were perceived as the villain, so you're going to own the villainess?
Yes.
I get it. 100%.
I did want another black boy alive on Earth. Why not?
That makes me cry. Yeah, I do too. I want another black boy alive on Earth, and I want him to live out his full days. Yeah, without contravention to his being. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Okay. In the spirit of James Lipton, I will let you go, but I'm going to ask you some fireball questions. And I want to tell you right now, preemptively, I appreciate so much your time and your energy. Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise do I love? Man, probably that fucking old school Apple ringtone that sounded like Harry Potter. I miss that shit. Or like Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, I love
like
that.
That could just be such a fire beat.
Yeah, that did used to get me excited, man. I used to be like, I'm about to get it. Jump over those mushrooms. I'm about to jump over those mushrooms. Yes. What sound or noise don't you love?
What sound or noise don't I don't know. I've never thought about a sound that I don't. I guess any high piercing noise that's just flat out unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like a fire alarm. Not a smoke detector in the house. I'm cool with that, but like a piercing fire alarm sound. I don't think I like that too much.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a noise I like either. Whiskey or wine?
Whiskey.
Of course. I knew it. I love it. What's your favorite word, King Carla?
Fuck.
I love it. That was going to be my next question. Was going to be, what's your favorite curse word? But you already, so your favorite word and your favorite curse word. Fuck. I got it. What's your least? The question I was going to ask you is, if you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what would you be doing?
I'll tell the same story I tell kids. Is that cool?
Yeah. Oh, is it cool? Of course it's cool.
All right, awesome. Probably a trained assassin off the grid, not even having these phones. Because you are not going to let me do art or anything creative. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm just going to go straight to the opposite end of the spectrum there, So I'm going to stay on my end over here. It's cooler.
I love it. Here's my last question. If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get there, King Carla?
Nigga, we been waiting.
We've been waiting. We've been waiting on you, girl.
What's up? We in the building, son.
You are, you're like everything. You are just like this tall glass of cold water with spritzer in it. I just love it. Thank you so much for your energy. Thank you for this time. Thank you for who you are on this planet and what you keep pushing. I see you and I
Cool.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
Appreciate you too.
Thank you.